Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the Friends as Sim Racers Tour Racing League Mountain Dew Dash Series here on JTN. We know we're a little late to you. We're letting these guys get some practice in after a brief rain delay. My name is Joe Twansky. Alongside me this evening are Ryan Pace and Tommy Bordeaux. Welcome to the booth, guys.
Hey.
Hey, it's great to be back. It's been a few weeks since I was here. Last time at Talladega. I'm really excited to work here with two good friends tonight here at Michigan.
Yeah, Ryan, it's nice to have you back up here. It's good for me to be back too. I wasn't here in the past couple weeks, but Joe, I'm looking forward to a great race tonight and a great broadcast.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great, like you said, great race, great broadcast. We had a couple difficulties last week, the last few weeks actually. Hopefully we got those by. You can see in the upper portion of your screen we have a new updated ticker. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Should be able to give you all the information in a more streamlined manner. Tonight is the LTI Printing 125 at the Michigan International Speedway here in beautiful Brooklyn, Michigan. Place I have visited personally many, many times for 18 years now. Tommy, you're just getting here from another race all the way out in Delaware. How are you doing? How you doing stamina wise?
That's right. Well, I'm doing okay, Joe, but I'll tell you what, I don't think I'm going to be as winded as some of these guys when they're finished with this one. Let me tell you, this is going to be a fast-paced race here at Michigan. It's a 2 mile, basically a super speedway, but not quite. You're not full throttle everywhere, but there's going to be a lot of close, tight racing that's really going to take a toll on these drivers. So if they could be there at the end, I bet they're going to be pooped.
Well, and you said fast paced, and we have the pace master here, Ryan Pace. Ryan, he said it's going to be a fast pace. What does that mean for pit strategy this evening?
Oh, there's always pit strategy here at Michigan. Strategy is very important. A normal full fuel tank gets you about half the distance of the race. It really comes down to, can you manage your tires as well as the fuel? If everything lines up, we could see some pit strategy with guys short pitting, guys trying to stretch out a tank. You always see that when you come here to Michigan. Otherwise, it will come down to making sure you save your tires throughout the race. Like I said, it's really going to depend on when you have to pit. If we do get some cautions, that'll really throw a wrench. Good size field tonight. Maybe we see some two tires stops. I think it's going to be a pretty important race at strategy here at Michigan.
Yeah, and Michigan is just a great track. We're going to see some side-by-side action hopefully this evening. You got multiple grooves that you can work with in each set of corners, and you don't have to tackle each corner the same way. Isn't that right, Tommy?
Yeah, that's right, Joe. And back at the Cup Series race, this is a little bit of a different surface here. We had some PJ1 up top in the Cup race here. Here in the Dash Series, it's going to be a little bit different today. But I think what you really got to look for is not getting stuck behind someone that's slow, because I think another component, especially with these series cars, it's going to be important is making sure you're up with the draft, right? So you don't want to get stuck behind a car and lose a front pack or anything, because that could really impact how you have I don't know if you're in position to win or not at the end of this thing.
And it'll be interesting to see. So we we've all won here at Michigan International Speedway, haven't we? Ryan, have you won here
I
before?
have. I believe so.
Tommy
Yes, I
has.
have.
So what makes winning at Michigan so special compared to some of these other tracks that we go to?
Well, let me tell you about Michigan, Joe. My story with these 2 mile large D-shaped ovals. I'm not I used to not be a huge fan of them, to be honest with you, Auto Club and Michigan. But I think winning here, especially Michigan, this is the heart of the United States' automotive industry, right? You got the big three over here: Ford, GM, Daimler. So a win here means a lot for that manufacturer that's on your hood. And I'll tell you what, Joe, I won here back at a Ford many years ago in the Truck Series, and I still remember that one. That was a great day.
Tommy, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's big to win in front of your manufacturers here in Michigan. It's always big to win here. Additionally, I mean, normally when you see the drivers win here, it's normally a really good. You don't see a lot of random wins. You see a lot of drivers that have earned it. That's not to say that you don't see some first time winners or anything, but if you win a race here, you've really earned it. Michigan isn't as simple as a super speed. There is still a lot that differentiates it from that. Although draft is important, it's knowing how to conserve your tires, how to save fuel, how to position yourself right in the pack. So if you win here, it normally means you're a pretty good driver.
As the drivers are now being called to their cars for qualifying, again, we are running on a slight delay due to rain in the Irish Hills. Apologize for that, of course, but guys, talk about rain too. The surface is going to be very fresh for these drivers this evening. Um,
Yeah,
Ryan,
Tommy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Ryan, you're usually the king of strategy. That's not going to play. It's not going to make your strategy any different though, because you got such short runs, right?
Right. It probably won't. It just depends. Again, I don't think there's a competition yellow scheduled, so we should be good to go there to go green away, barring any accidents. Fingers crossed. The strategy might come into play. It's really tough to say so early on. I don't. We'll get into that more as the night progresses. If something were to happen, if we were to go green the whole way. But Tom, before you got here, we had some rain, so the race starting a little late. I'm glad it gave you some time to get here as well, because we really wanted a 3-man booth with you tonight.
Oh, I appreciate it, Ryan. It's always good to have you guys around, and I'm so happy to be a part of this JTN crew. I definitely noticed it on the windows of the PTR private jet when I was flying in. So I didn't know what quite to expect. I'm glad so far it's cleared up, and hopefully that rain stays away.
Well, it'll be a very exciting race tonight. We are so proud to bring you the amazing action from the Mountain Dew Dash Series presented on just running through some difficulties, right? We're running a little late, but so happy to present this race to you this evening. I'm Joe Twansky. Alongside me, Tommy Bordeaux, who's been up here more times than not, and Ryan Pace for his second event. If you have a chance while we got the moment currently, go down to the description of the video, whether you're watching it later or you're watching it live with us. The proper way to watch it, uh, go down. There's a couple links down there. If you go, there's a link for the Fast Racing League to sign up if you want to participate. There's a link to the JTN Facebook page, which will let you know every time that we're going live. Usually Tuesday nights at 9, but of course we talked about the rain delay we had here. There's also a couple links to a couple different stores that offer some graphic designs that are helping sponsor us this tonight. If you use promo code JTN2, that is JTN2 at either of those stores, you'll receive a 10% discount. Check them out if you get a chance. Really appreciate it. Anything that you guys do, any of those four things, they really help show us some support. Hit the like, subscribe. You know the deal. It's YouTube, right? But really excited this evening. Really excited. Michigan's my home track, and I'm just so happy. It's gonna be a good race.
Well, Joe, like I always say, if you're happy, I'm happy. Ryan Pace, you happy?
I'm happy, and you know what, Tommy? I don't know if the fans realize this, but it's actually Joe's birthday. So I hope he's really happy by the end of this race.
Oh,
Happy
you
birthday,
bet.
Joe. I'm really
Aw.
glad you decided to spend it with us here.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Hoping it's a good race. That's the only thing I need for my birthday. Is looks like qualifying is now done. Tommy, do you want to take us through our starting lineup this evening?
Sure thing, Mr. Birthday Boy. So on the pole, Mr. Andrew Miller narrowly edging out the 15 of Matt Watkins for the pole run here. It's a 36.67 lap time compared to an 8.69. That's pretty nice for Matt Watkins, but unfortunately, that's going to land him on the outside of row 1. In row 2, we have Zach Ruskowski, a very strong third place run there, followed by Seth Cole in the 25 car. Randall Coleman is in position number 5 with Bill Murnahan in the 3 on his outside. Going back to row 4, we have Greg Lavelle in the 08 car and the 29 car of Brian Wolf making his first start of the season. In row number 5, car number 83, Ryan Lusk with Cody Luke in the number 4 car to his outside. And then you got a grab bag of those random draw qualifiers. Keith Patton in the number 69 in position number 11. Corbin Huffman, the winner at Iowa a few weeks ago in the 23 car, back in position number 12. And that is going to round out the field here at Michigan.
And it's a great field tonight. We got a little bigger of a driver turnout this evening because, of course, it's Michigan, a track that has a pretty level playing field. So, Ryan, with all that said, who do you have winning tonight's race?
I'm really glad I get a pick first. There's several drivers that have a shot. It's Michigan. A lot of drivers can win it. The question is who will earn it. I think tonight the driver's going to earn this win. Corbin Huffman. He may be starting dead last. He won at Iowa. He's had a great season. I think tonight was going to be his night to go back to victory lane here at Michigan. What about you, Tommy?
I'm going to make a pick with some guy who had a very good qualifying run. That's the number 1 car, Zach Ostrowski. You know, he's a former Michigan winner in the fast racing series. He had a great qualifying run. To translate to that to the race and be there at the end, I think he's got a shot to win this thing.
Yeah, I know you guys left a lot of good guys out there. You know, Matt Watkins, our winner last week, and our winner at Charlotte, which were both intermediate tracks like this one. Randall Coleman's out there, but I'm going to have to go with the 47 of Andrew Miller, our pole sitter this evening. He had a win pretty much taken away from him at Charlotte. Really hope to see that 47 car in victory lane, maybe grab some of that momentum and if anything, just get a good finish tonight and get that momentum back rolling.
Yeah, he's had quite a few heartbreak finishes, certainly. Although, even though they've been tough for him, they've been great for us up in the booth. We've had some great finishes this year. I hope we have a good one tonight. I think we will.
Yeah, last week was exciting too. Andrew finished second to Matt Watkins, and they're starting to get in on the front row. It's a good finish. I'm really hope that we can have something similar here. Each week we're getting some really good finishes in the Dash Series.
Well, and that should be even more encouragement for everyone watching here to, if you haven't already, check out the Fast Racing League. You get some great NR 2003 racing with a lot of guys that just really know how to do the sim right and do right by each other, race each other clean and hard, which is something that's sometimes hard to come by. We're keeping NR alive. We're doing our best. We want to make sure that we can continue to present you with a great alternative to some other sims that are out there, while also helping maybe with your pocketbook, because you know some of those sims aren't necessarily the best for the old wallet. So we're going 50 laps tonight. Pit cycle's around 20 or so laps. Am I correct in that, Ryan?
It sort of depends here. You can usually milk it a little farther. Getting a full 25, which half the race, that's probably not doable. So it is 20, maybe a little farther. You may see some strategy with people pitting early to get the advantage of those fresh tires.
Well, Ryan, maybe you can milk it a little bit, but I'm not quite the fuel-saving wizard like you are. I think in this race you're going to see a very differing strategies from different drivers. In the Cup Series race, we had probably like 3 or 4 groups that pitted on different laps during that race, during green flag pit stops. I think we might see the same thing here. Obviously, less number of drivers that might be going in those groups, but I think you're going to see a real mix down there, and maybe it's going to come down to fuel strategy at the end of this thing if it stays green all the way.
Well, we've seen so many Michigan races go down to fuel strategy in the past, just in, you know, the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series. Ryan, what's your favorite Michigan finish?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Got to put you on the spot.
Okay, well, I've got it here. My favorite, you said fuel mileage Michigan win, right?
It can be any, but fuel mileage, I'm assuming, would be your favorite.
It might have been the one here at Michigan. In 2009, when the lead swapped twice on the last lap, Mark Martin ended up winning the race. I believe it was Biffle and Jimmy Johnson both ran out of gas. Mark Martin made the winning pass on the backstretch. Everyone was running out of gas. Races like that, where it's very chaotic, are really exciting. I mean, there's a ton of great Michigan finishes, but that one I'll just always remember. You don't see a lot like that at other tracks. Just the chaos from drivers running out of fuel, and you still saw the drivers that were up front were still the cream of the crop of the sport, and they were still running out of gas trying to just milk that final lap. What about you, Tommy?
Yeah, I'm going to go 1 year before you, actually. I'm going to go with 2008 and Brian Vickers getting Red Bull Racing's first win in the NASCAR Cup Series. That was a huge race for him, and as a Brian Vickers fan, it meant a lot, certainly, and I'm really glad that he was able to get that win. And again, it was fuel mileage, so a lot of strategy out here at the, what do they call this place? It's not the Magic Mile, but it's something, I'll tell you what. It certainly brings some magic to the racetrack, that's for sure.
Oh, yes, it does indeed.
That's a good call. That was a good race.
Drivers now being called to their cars to get on the grid. Again, we'll be going for 40 laps this evening. I misspoke. Is it 40?
Yeah, it's showing as 40, although the race length was showing as 50, so this may be a shortened race. Maybe it's related to the rain. We were told 50, so it might just be 40. There may have been a change to the rain.
Yeah, guys, just got word from Randall Coleman, one of the league admins. Looking at the Doppler radar, there should be rain moving in kind of shortly, so they shortened up the race just a little bit to try and get this thing done and over with. Hopefully, we go green all the way to the end, and we don't have to pause for any sort of yellow for wet conditions.
Well, and that's kind of unfortunate for some of these drivers. A lot of times you want to see race as many laps as you can, and I'm sure that some of the guys starting towards the back is. Did it get reset?
It looks like it has been. I'm not sure what they're going on down there, but Joe, I just got to say this changes everything. The strategy is going to be completely different. Drivers may need to retool what they're going to do. Um, like I normally don't want to go into a race with a set strategy. Just play it as it goes. If you have a really good car, maybe you just get safe. If you're not doing so hot, you take it risky. But with the number of laps changing, that might change how this race is going to go. Hopefully the drivers can use this extra time to make some plans on how they want to run tonight.
Yeah, I got to tell you what, Ryan, 40 laps is quite the short race. I mean, even for Michigan, a larger track, I mean, that's not a whole lot of time to get the job done. So, boy, we're going to have some really action-packed racing out here on the track.
As the drivers are again being called to their cars, hopefully this time we get on go and you hear the command to start engines. It's going to be an exciting one this evening here at the Michigan International Speedway in beautiful Brooklyn, Michigan, nestled in the Irish Hills of Michigan, southeastern Michigan, so southern, mid-southern Michigan, but cars rolling off pit road. There you see Randall Coleman in that 9 Napa Camaro. He'll obviously be fast tonight, but all eyes are going to be on those guys that start up front as they're going to be coming to the green. Andrew Miller and Matt Watkins will be on your front row. Guys, so happy that you are up here with me, and to everyone joining us on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Feel free to use that chat box on the right side of your screen to interact with us, questions throughout the race, whatever suits your fancy. So guys, roll through down the back straightaway, guys. Are you excited? Are you ready to go?
I'm always excited, especially for a great dash series race. We've had so many this year that have come down to the wire, and I think tonight in Michigan with the short race length, wide open banks here in Michigan, we're going to have a great one tonight. I want to mention one thing. You see that Chevrolet Camaro pace car up there? Talking about Chevrolet Camaros, all the cars in this field except for one have that Chevrolet logo on the front of them. So Matt Watkins in that Toyota Supra there is a lone wolf out there in the Toyota stable. Other than that, all Camaros. So 100 horsepower underneath some of these hoods.
Be exciting to see if Watkins can kind of make some alliances with some guys throughout the race to kind of get that help. As you see, the pace car pulls down onto pit road. Andrew Miller will lead him into the restart zone. As we wait, green flags in the air. We are underway here at Michigan. Great start by the 47, Andrew Miller. Looks like he'll be clear of the 15 as the one of Zach Krastowski moves to the inside. Oh, maybe not as we go down into 1-2.
Yeah, I think you're going to look at a lot of these cars kind of spread out early on and then try and find a single file line they can form up and get organized into. Right now, look at teammates down low. One of Krastowski followed by the 9 of Randall Coleman working together on that bottom.
Yeah, and Miller.
That the first lap, that these tires are so slick, the track is still untested. We don't know what's changed. It's a great time to get positions, work together, like you see Zach and Randall doing here to get up second and third. But in the upcoming laps, once everybody gets settled out, I think we'll probably see some more single file racing.
As you see, now they're looking to the outside for the lead. Andrew Miller on the bottom doesn't have very much help, but Randall Coleman and Zach Krastowski on the outside doesn't look like they'll be able to get there, but maybe get a run down the backstretch.
Yeah, I think definitely with how these cars are, the power behind them, I think teammates are going to be pretty crucial right here, especially down the backstretch when you're trying to draft. And right now, it's that number 1 car, point guys, on the outside line.
Yeah, that Allegiant Chevy looking good this evening. Qualified third, made his way up to the front, but big contributor to that is the 9 of Randall Coleman, who has pushed his teammate all the way to the lead here.
And you already see him lurking. He lost a couple spots early on, but Matt Watkins is already back up to third. I know he's the only Toyota in the field. That didn't stop him last week. I know there might have been some others. He won last week. He can work with anybody, and he also can take advantage of any hole that's left on the track.
So Randall Coleman now
I think
looks.
something he's done very well. Sorry, Joe. Matt Watkins has done so well in these races. He's been there at the end. It seems like in almost every one of these things. It's been a matter such Charlotte on the last corner, but right now, guys, looks like that one car trying to hold off the 9 as Randall Coleman goes to the outside.
Well, he's doing a really good job of holding this middle line in the corners as they go on to entry, so that really screws up that outside line from getting that huge kind of arc through the corner that helps him get the momentum. But it looks like Coleman might be able to make the pass work here down the backstretch if he gets enough help from Watkins. And Corbin Huffman in the 23 making his way into the picture in 6th.
Another guy I've been keeping an eye on is Greg Lavelle. He's already up there. He might get second if they can get that inside line all the way to the front. He was pretty fast in practice. He's got a good car. I think he'll be someone to watch as well. We didn't mention him before the race, but he's always competitive.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful number 08 Tide machine right there. The Tide Ride out there looking for second place on Randall Coleman on the inside while Zach Krostowski keeps the lead. Let's go see this run on the outside line, guys. Looks like Matt Watkins tucked up nicely to the back of Randall Coleman.
I think he might get it here. That outside line, you can get the runoff off the straightaway. If you can get side by side coming off the corner, you should get the advantage on the straight. As I say, that's pretty close here.
Yeah, really close at the line there. Only a 0.01. That's a hundredth of a second separation between those two cars, and it's only lap 6, guys.
And they're racing like it's lap, well, what, 40 now? We continue to see side-by-side racing. I'm really surprised how well those two cars are kind of holding on the bottom as you see Coleman now gets clear of the one on the inside.
What I noticed right here, look at those 4 cars in the outside line up front there. The 9, the 15, the 23, and the 47. So organized, so put together. It allowed them to get this lead, and Randall Coleman way out in front now, that fading inside line.
Well, and our hard charger of the race so far has to be your pick, Ryan, 23 of Corbin Huffman. He's come all the way from the back of the field to make his way up into the 3rd position here.
Yeah, that didn't take long. I thought he'd be moving up quick. I didn't know if it'd be this quick. I know he's a very patient driver, and he wouldn't have been afraid to wait. But I think he wanted to go tonight, and that's why he's in 3rd. He may be content to just race there until pit stops and make his move in the second half of the race.
Randall Coleman continues to lead. See a little moment off of turn 4 for that 23. So, Ryan, we talked about strategy thinking the race was going to be 50 laps. Here we are, we're riding. Can these guys make it on one stop to the end?
Yes, they should be able to. If they can split it in half, 20 laps a run, they should be able to get 20 laps, especially with all the draft. These cars may not be as fast as they are in the Cup Series, so they may be able to stay a little bit there. They should be good. Tires should be fine. They may have to change tires on the stop, but the tires will last that long. So I believe it should be a one-stop race if all goes as planned and we stay green.
You see these beautiful shots we get through the corner. The cars all fanning out, trying to get that clean air. So how much does clean air really, play a factor here as we continue to run laps and these tires start to wear out?
Well, I mean, it can be important, especially with this Xfinity Series package here, the Dash Series package, as opposed to the Cup Series package, where dirty air is definitely a talked about subject that I don't know, you hear about every race weekend. With these cars, you have a lower spoiler, and I think these cars are able to cut through that dirty air a lot better, and also they don't produce as much. So you're able to race a lot more. And speaking of racing a lot more, something that I thought would happen would be these cars getting strung out a single file pretty soon. As we just took lap number 9, and there's still somewhat of a pack there. That's actually lap 10 now, but I think we're getting single file kind of up at the front at least.
It'll be interesting to see, too, as pit stops continue to kind of close in on us here. These guys, they're going to get strung out, but they're definitely going to want to start, I usually like to be in a good position a couple laps before I know I'm pitting. You see the big moment for the one is Zach Krostowski there going into turn 3. I usually like to be in position a couple laps before I make my stop. So do you think some of these guys might drop to the back or try to make their way to the front maybe a little more as you see Seth Cole moving to the inside of Zach?
Well, I'm of the mindset that, when I enter Michigan pit road, I'm a little bit more aggressive, I think, than other drivers. So I know I can get more coming on, but that also means I don't want to be stuck behind drivers coming in. So I think the best place to be would be right out front. You got to watch behind you to make sure nobody takes you out. But I think if you're aggressive on a pit road, you've practiced it, you're entering fast, I think the best place to be is out front. If you're not, you might have to get yourself to the back to try and avoid some traffic ahead.
Yeah, we were watching during practice. Some of the drivers come down, practice getting on pit road, which is a really important skill here, like you said, Tommy. I think that's going to be really important. Is how hard you can get in. They are sort of running more that middle high line in turn 3 and 4. There are a few drivers still going low. If they're at that point where they're still running up there, you might be able to risk at the front of the field just pitting, not having to worry too much about the drivers behind you. Just make sure to make a quick signal on the backstretch that you're pitting. I do still think there might be a driver too that drops to the back just to be safe, since there's like 1 second difference in first and last as of right now, so it's not too big a difference to give up that track position for safety, Joe.
Well, and we're watching here the 23 of Corbin Huffman. I'm watching him as they're going into the corner. He's all over the back bumper of that 15 of Matt Watkins. You see Randall Coleman takes a lower arc into the corner here, kind of a surprising move. But if you got a guy that's maybe being a little more aggressive than you want to be this early in the race, what is your play there, Tommy or Ryan? Whichever one of you wants to take this. What is your play? You see again another big moment is you're kind of like getting sandwiched in between two cars.
Well, at the beginning of a race, I think I usually err on the side of caution. I try and not push it too hard and not put myself in bad situations that could take me out of contention early on. But there is really no such thing as on in this race. I mean, a 40-lap race, and we're already 13 laps in. These drivers got to go. So I think at this point, you're already looking forward to that first pit stop and really trying to put yourself in a good positions Matt Watkins to the inside of the 9.
So he makes the move.
And that's interesting. Corbin did not go with him. He's sticking with Randall Coleman. I wonder, just because he'd been all over the back of Watkins, I thought he might stay with him, but no, he's sticking with Randall.
Well, and that's going to come down to either, team, Randall and Corbin, they're teammates here, so you got to think Corbin's probably going to go with the 9 of Coleman, and that outside line is really, really doing a great job of just staying together and making time on the outside. Like you said, we're 14, 15 laps already into this race?
Yeah, just 14 through now, on lap 15 currently, and right now I'm enthralled by how close these guys still are. I mean, everybody's still got a chance at this race right now, and even though things have spread apart just a little bit since we started this thing, there's still a lot of cars that are really under a blanket that might come away with the win, especially depending on how they get into pit road and off of pit road.
Well, and pit road was a big point last week. We saw a bunch of drivers. Randall Coleman was our leader last week coming to pit road, and he completely messed it up. Got a 30-second penalty because he missed the commitment cone. So we continue to close in, and I continue to talk about it because it seems like every week we have some issue coming to pit road, whether it be penalties or guys running into teammates. So Michigan is a little different than a lot of the other tracks. You kind of got a little bit of a better entry, a little wider into that pit road. With these guys running up a little higher, you probably got a little more time to slow it on down. But as now we're seeing a battle for fourth that's kind of letting the top three get away.
Yeah, that's something I talked about earlier. You don't want to get stuck behind people and then lose that lead pack. So if they can sort it out, I think they'll be okay. But right now, those top three, like you mentioned, Joe, just making a little bit of a gap as Corbin Huffman goes to the lead on the outside.
Well, big power move. He got a huge push from the 08 Tide ride there. They powered by Randall. Now Randall's going to have to try to hold off his teammate Zach Krastowski for third.
Well, those guys were battling for fourth back there. I saw it building on the front stretch. That was a great push by Greg Lavelle, and that got him ahead. And Randall didn't put up too much of a fight. I think they'll maybe just content right now to race single file, at least until the next one can get a big run. I say that the 08 takes a look down low with the 9. Nope, 9's going to go high. Yeah, he's got to make up his mind. Okay, looks like he might push him.
He thought about it. So another thing I like to do here at Michigan and some of these other tracks is I like to push. If two guys in front of me are side by side, I like to kind of pick and choose which one to push, just based off of like whichever one's maybe lagging behind a little bit. I know I'm a little weird when I'm driving, but bear with me here. How aware are you of cars around you and what their speed's been like throughout a race when you're deciding on who to push?
I think sometimes it depends on just who's that car in front of you and what line they took off the corner that you just went through. I mean, if a car's on the high side, they're going to have more momentum when you exit onto the corner onto the backstretch. So you're going to have good momentum and good speed going off there. On the other hand, you got to pay attention to who's going low as well. If they come off lower out the quarter,
we got a car in the wall. Sorry, Tommy, but we got a Keith Patton in the 69. Looked like he got in the wall there.
He's
no
keeping
caution.
it going. He's keeping it going. Yeah, we're still in the green.
Still under green. And I'll tell you what, though, check out the 08 right now. Mr. Lavelle in the tide ride and Corbin Huffman in the 23 working together, making a little bit of a gap back to Randall Coleman, who tried to get his lead back, but now has fallen behind just a couple tenths, looking to catch back up.
That 23 and the 08 are working so well together.
They really are, and now you're starting to see things kind of spread out just a little bit. Not much of a big pack. Cars getting a little bit more gaps between them. And as we head through halfway through this race right now, pit stops should be coming shortly, and that's going to really shake things up.
Well, in this race getting strung out a little bit, that's got to be a product too of not as much side-by-side racing. Am I right, Ryan?
Yeah, once you can get single file, it allows the drivers to start stretching out a little bit more. If a driver's fast, they can pull away. And I think especially as tires start to wear just a little bit, that's going to string the field out. And it sort of snowballs from there. So the key right now is just to stay in that pack before pit stops, not lose too much time on the track, and hopefully gain it back getting on pit road.
Yeah, you mentioned, Ryan, not wanting to lose too much time to the leaders getting on pit road. Right now, 1 second used to cover the entire field, and now that same gap only covers the top 6. So things certainly spreading out here in Brooklyn, Michigan, as the 08 car, driven by Mr. Lavelle in the tide ride, comfortably in the lead with Corbin Huffman doing a great job pushing him behind him.
I'm hearing reports a few of these guys are pitting here, and as you see that, they duck down to pit road, a few of the leaders. Some still staying out, they can keep going.
A big lockup by the 23 and the 9. Hopefully they make it. The 15 and a 1 hit the commitment cone. That's going to be a penalty.
I'll be interested to see how the officials rule everything. A couple guys there with the cone. I'm not sure exactly when they start the timing. A lot of times you come in hot, but still slam the brakes to get it slowed down because they take the average of the scoring loop on the pit road. So I'll be interested to see here which drivers got caught speeding and which ones are good to go.
So we'll go back to
It was quite an adventurous pit road entry. You had multiple guys locking up, Kraskowski out by the commitment cone, and a lot of drivers down on pit road, while it seems like half the field stayed out.
Lavelle really aggressive to pit road. I don't know if he might have made it. That looks like everyone else though doing a really good job of making it down there. But Lavelle and the rest of your leaders now on pit road. It'll be interesting to see how this field comes back together as Matt Watkins is off pit road.
Matt Watkins did a great job on pit road right there. Took over the lead. He was a couple positions back, remember. Kind of slid back after the start of this race. And a great pit stop. Great time going in and out of pit road. And a great stop by his crew can allow him to come out ahead of Corbin Huffman.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, though, if fast officials get him for hitting that commitment cone coming to pit road. It looked like he was really close. He'll stay out, so I'm thinking that he's probably good.
Yeah, I've not heard anything yet. Yeah, that's a horrible way to lose a race, and we've seen it happen time and time again to just anybody. It can happen to anybody. It's just bad luck, but looks like it might have been some good luck. I hope there were no penalties. We'll find out in a lap or two for sure.
Meanwhile, it looks like some drivers coming off of pit road right now that pit a little bit later, kind of at a disadvantage. Andrew Miller in the 47 car was really up there at the start of the race, but then obviously our pole sitter, but then has really fallen back, and it looks like he's lost touch with any kind of pack.
As we see a pass for the lead, Matt Watkins, he's going to make it look easy as Lavelle tries to get back up to speed. He'll probably slide in third here. Slides right up behind that 23 of Corbin Huffman. So now it's a three-car breakaway for the lead here at Michigan.
Now the 9 of Randall Coleman and the 1 of Zach Krastowski look like they may still be holding on. They would really wanted them to race side by side more. They were probably happy that the 08 got passed because that gives them a little extra time to catch back up. They're going to try their best to stay in that draft to catch back up to them and make it a 5-car race, I think, Tommy.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, though, Ryan. I mean, you take a look at how well the 08 and the 23 have been working together, and in some ways also the 23 and the 15, too. Those are guys that I don't think are going to be too much to an advantage of Randall Coleman and Zach Kraskowski trying to catch up. I think they're doing a good job right now working together, but you see that 9 car just kind of peeking into the screen. He gained about 3/10 that lap, so he might be there.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely there. Randall Coleman in that 9 car closing in on third place, and the rest of these leaders. It's going to be an interesting race here coming to the finish.
They're good to go on fuel and tires. No more stops. If this goes green the rest of the way, we're going to see these 5 guys duke it out. Looks like, unfortunately, Andrew Miller, Brian Wolf, Cody Luke, and Seth Cole They have all grouped together in the second group, so they're probably hoping for a yellow. They're a few seconds back, so if something happens to the leaders, maybe they can race for a higher position. But it looks like it's going to come down to one of those 5 guys unless something changes here.
Yeah, and if you're hoping for a yellow, I don't know if you're going to get one. I mean, it's too early to call just yet, but I'll tell you what, guys, looking at the trends, Michigan's been somewhat of a clean track. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of caution fests. Once you get past the first couple laps and things kind of get strung out, there tends to be a lot of clean racing. And tonight, I mean, it's been no different. We've seen a lot of cars staying off each other very well, giving each other, despite the close racing. And right now, it's a 5-car breakaway by 5 seconds, guys.
Yeah, those pit stops really changed the complexion of this race. You said right before you kind of had that 1 second gap between the top 6, and then we saw Andrew Miller kind of fall off, and in that 6th place car, he fell farther back from these guys. Is that a product, too, of him staying out that extra lap compared to, say, Matt Watkins and Zach Krastowski, who were closer to him?
Yeah, I think so. And if you don't have help and you get pit stops just a little bit wrong and you're out there without anybody to push you or pull you, it can be difficult, especially if you don't have the best pit road entry or exit speed. And I think for Andrew Miller tonight, that kind of bit him a little bit. And now, even though he started on the pole, he's pretty much out of contention unless we get a yellow.
Well, in that number 1 stall, too, it doesn't really help you too much if you're coming to pit road by yourself. You can't really, it's hard, you always talk about the number 1 stall being such a great advantage for these guys under caution or when they're coming down pit road with other guys, but when you're coming by yourself, you really shoot yourself in the foot by doing that because you don't give your crew really a great opportunity to make up spots on pit road.
Yeah, I went back and looked at the 47's entry to pit road. He played a little conservative, which was safe, didn't get caught for speeding or anything. But he was hanging out with the 08 of Greg LaBelle, who ended up coming out of pit road with the lead before he was shortly after. Unfortunately, that was the difference. Miller, Brian Wolf, and Seth Cole ended up coming to pit road around the same time. And, I mean, it's like a second. You can see him right there, the car in front of you, but that was the difference. And it compounds once they got off pit road and up to full speed, and the 08 joined that pack up front.
Yeah, time gained or lost on pit road almost seems exponential compared to time on the track. And I give up just a 10th in pit road, but it can mean so much more on the racing surface. Instead of meaning so much more, as we see a little bit of contact between the 9 and 15, it is 10 laps to go, and that means it's the TWB 10 laps to go. Folks, for over a decade, TWB has provided companies and consumers alike with products and services that make business happen from a brand you can trust. For more information, visit us online at twb.com. Now more than ever, TWB, let's do this together. Together we will, as later this summer, TWB Raceway, the first racetrack made by the TWB Corporation, will be released to the general public for use in NASCAR Racing 2003.
And TWB, you guys over there are doing such a great job of, you and Kurt Montgomery just doing a great job of really building a brand that's doing great stuff and really providing all those products and services for consumers and businesses alike.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Great things for great people. That's what we're all about.
And another great thing happening.
Yeah, this race, I was going to say, things are really heating up. Randall Coleman to the point now. He was kind of almost hanging off the edge of that pack, and now he's found himself in the lead.
And he's got that outside line, too. He'll be able to keep up some of that momentum. And he's got a teammate right behind him in that 23 of Corbin Huffman.
Don't forget in the back of the 1 car, I think he's sort of scoping him out. He's looking a little low lately, but he was up there mixing it with them. They have the numbers. If they can get working together, it would be their race to lose, I think.
Well, and Ryan, you talk about how the 1 car, Zach Krastowski, is running that bottom. What does that do to the tires? It heats them up a little bit more, right?
Yeah, a little bit more. It's really tough to say. I haven't heard any drivers complaining about the tires, so it may not make big a difference. But yeah, it does heat them up a little bit more, which does lead to a little more wear. But the shortest line's always the quickest way around the track. Right now, I think it's just picking a line to draft with, as they're single file, so there's not really much of a choice. But if there's 2 lines, maybe you want to go down low. You can get a run, at least going into the corner, and try to make a move from there.
Well, and guys, I'd like to give a quick shout out to a winner the last time you were in the booth, Ryan. Michael Murata tuning in saying, "Oh my God, I love it." Thanks, Mikey, for the great comments here as we continue to race at the Michigan International Speedway. Randall Coleman, your leader, followed by Corbin Huffman, Lavelle in the 08, Watkins in the 15, and Krastowski in the 1 net, rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, we do love it, and we love you, Michael Murata. You were my pick, and you won my first ever JTN broadcast with the crew. So, thank you so much for tuning in, and everybody who's tuned in tonight to watch. We got a good crowd on hand for one of these dash races, and boy, you're in for a thrilling show. This thing's really heating up. Just 6 laps to go at Michigan.
As you see, the cars, they're in a line now, so you got to think Corbin Huffman, he's probably waiting it out. Ryan, you talked about how he's a really patient driver here. He's got to be waiting to make his move towards the end of this race, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's patient. He's been basically on the back bumper of whoever's in front of him, and it's been a bunch of different guys he's been willing to just sit behind and wait for his moment. I think being in that second spot will allow him to get a run so that he can take the lead once he's ready to make that move. Because although Corbin's very patient, Mr. Huffman's also very hungry for a win. I'm sure he'd love to win another one of these races. And him and the 08, who worked so well together earlier in this race, are bumper to bumper here on the backstretch. At any moment, I expect to see the 23 take a peek out, go for that win.
Yeah, take a look at how close these guys are, and they've done that for multiple laps now. So close together, but yet keeping things
Oh,
going.
big moment.
Too close.
A little bit too close right there. I was going to say.
They're good.
Oh,
they're
Watkins
going
now
all right.
looking to the inside of Lavelle in the 08.
That might mix things up here.
Yeah. I was going to say these guys could be a Casio advertisement, keeping things cool, calm, and calculated. But as we get to the end of this thing, I don't think that's going to hold true for very much longer.
At least for a lap or two, the 9 car here and out front probably liked that the most. It disorganized the chase. It looks like they're getting back into single file, but that bought him a lap or two without having to worry about the 23 getting a run.
Well, and as they fall back too, they can get a greater run at the 9 of Coleman because they don't you don't provide as much momentum to that car ahead as if you're farther back. And they had a great run there through 3 and 4, but Huffman elected not to use it.
You're really being patient right there and staying in line. I don't know. We got 3 laps to go here. Oh, it's getting really exciting, guys. There's Lavelle on the inside. They got 3 cars down there trying to make something happen. Looks like they go back up high. Lavelle left out to dry.
Oh, that's cold. He made the move. 23 was sitting on it. The 08 makes the move. No one's with him. He's still holding side by side. I think if he could get there, someone will go with them. But now that all 4 of the other drivers are up there, they're going to come to 2 to go here and remain in single file.
Huffman's got to be waiting.
Corbin Huffman, I mean, he hasn't made a move yet, man. And you got to think, with 2 laps to go, this thing's going to go by really fast. He's got to try something, guys.
He's got to, because time is running out. Like you said, we're going to be about a lap and a half to go here down the back straightaway. Huffman looks to try to get a run, but I want to keep your eye on that 15 of Matt Watkins. He has a history of doing stuff on the last lap, maybe backing off a little bit so he can get a bigger run down into the corner. As Huffman looks to the inside of Coleman.
You bet. There he goes to the inside, Joe, on the inside of the 9 car. Randall Coleman. Oh, he's looking for the lead.
Did he clear him?
Oh, it's close.
There's white flags in the air. And Watkins goes with him.
This is too exciting.
Look at that, the 15 following the 23. They have worked together earlier, but it's Huffman in front of that pair right now as Coleman looking to the inside of Matt Watkins.
Oh, he's got to be angry behind the wheel of that 9. He's definitely going to try to look for that second position, but it doesn't look like he's going to get to the inside. Watkins to the outside of Coleman for second. Now probably to the outside of Huffman as they make contact.
I think that's going to seal it. Coming off of turn 4, Michigan, Corbin Huffman from the back to the front. The 23 car wins the Michigan.
Oh, contact. Big wreck. Big junk. Oh my God. You hate to see that.
That's unfortunate. They kept it clean all race long until the very end. What a finish, though, guys.
What a finish. Holy good. Like I said, I just wanted a good race. Just wanted a good race, and we got it. Corbin Huffman.
Put on a show for your birthday, Joe.
Oh my golly gee.
I cannot believe that finish. What a blazing race, too. The average speed of Corbin Huffman, tonight's winner, 192.170 miles per hour. That is the average speed. Means even when you count their time on pit road, even their time in the turns when they're losing speed, cranking that wheel to the left. That's the average speed, 192 miles an hour.
What a fast race, guys. And that shorter distance, those 40 laps, really made it dramatic from the beginning to the end. We talked about Corbin Huffman. Man, he's got to make some moves. And I think he heard us, guys. Burning it down here in Michigan.
Yeah, he does a great job. He's visited this track many times. Has to feel good to win at a track that you've gone to as he burns it down on the front stretch right in front of the flagman, the 3M flagman, here at the Michigan International Speedway. Corbin Huffman is your winner. Let's go through the top 5. Let's go. Just Tommy, why don't you take us through the results?
Sure, Joe, I can do that. Well, of course, in first place here, starting all the way in the back of the field, Corbin Huffman in the 23 Chevrolet takes the win here in Michigan, followed by Randall Coleman in the 9, who led late. Matt Watkins in the lone Toyota in third place, the number 15, followed by Zach Oskowski, who stayed in the top 5 all race long. Greg Lavelle, the number 08 Tide Ride in fifth. Brian Wolf making his season debut in the number 29 car. Sixth place, Seth Cole, seventh. Cody Luke, eighth. Andrew Miller started on pole, had a promising first half of the race, and then fell back all the way to ninth. Bill Murnahan in the 3 car, rounding out the top 10, followed by Ryan Lusk in the 83 and Keith Patton in the number 69 car.
Well, and Keith had a really bad runoff before getting the wall. That was probably going to be, if we were going to have a caution, that was probably it. But then we saw that great finish, big spectacular wreck at the end. Ryan, wrap it up for us. What was your big takeaway from this evening's race?
Oh, where to begin? What a race! Great finish. We saw great racing all throughout the night. There was great racing throughout the pack. I don't even think we caught it in the excitement of the finish, but we had a photo finish for sixth. That second pack was side by side coming to the line. There was great racing all night. And my pick to win, Corbin Huffman, came through for me. That's my first time picking the correct winner, so I'm really happy about that. But all of those top 5, if they had one, they would have deserved it. They all had a great race. It was Corbin that played it just right. You could see for a long time that he was setting it up that whole race, even though he didn't really lead a lot. He was setting up that final lap so that he could lead and win to the line. Great racing. I had a lot of fun tonight, and I just want to thank you guys for letting me be here in the booth, Joe and Tommy. I look forward to doing this again in the future.
Yeah, as we see the replay for the battle for sixth, like you said, just a great finish between Cole and Brian Wolf for that position. Every point, every position really matters here in the Fast Racing League. Again, if you want to join the Fast Racing League, there is a link in the video description that'll take you right to their page where you can sign up and start participating next week if you even wanted to, where we will be at Sonoma, I believe, in the Mountain Dew Dash Series on Tuesday nights. It's a fixed setup series, so it's a really good thing for if you're just getting into the sim or you're maybe a little out of practice. Guys, again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We had an awesome race, and I'm just really we're pulling together a great string of races here. We're gonna have Sonoma and then Chicagoland down the line, so a bunch of great races also coming up here. So really hope that you tune in. Join us next week, next Tuesday night at 9. Hopefully, if we can stay out of the weather. Tommy, Ryan, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me back here, Joe. So much fun broadcasting these races. We always seem to get some good ones, and I'm happy tonight was no different.
Yep, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Tom. Happy birthday, Joe. I think the race lived up to the hype. We had a great finish. Anytime we get together in the booth, we see a good one. And every week here in this series, it's been a great one. I can't wait to see some left and right turns next week at Sonoma.
Yeah, it will for sure be exciting next week. My name is Joe Twansky. I have been here with Mr. Tommy Bordeaux and Mr. Ryan Pace for the presentation of the Friends of the Sim Racers Tour Mountain Dew Dash Series here on JTN on YouTube. Remember to go to our Facebook page, like us there, like and subscribe on this video, and we will see you next week at the Sonoma Raceway in beautiful California. Tommy, your home state. So see you guys next week, and hope you have a great rest of this one.